Hey, hey YouTube. I am here today for a book review. Um, I just finished reading this book, The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. This is a library copy because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it or not. This is the story of a young girl, and it takes place after a zombie apocalypse. And I've actually never read a zombie apocalypse book, which is kind of surprising because I'm into zombie movies. I think part of the reason I never read any is because I was worried they might have too much plot, and zombie movies are supposed to be all about the blood and gore. But having said that, I kept seeing everybody unhauling this book and several others that I'm going to get from my local library. And it sounded really cool. And I'll read you the excerpt. It says, "In Mary's world, there are simple truths. The sisterhood always knows best. The guardians will protect and serve. The unconsecrated will never relent. And you must always mind the fence that surrounds the village. The fence that protects the village from the forest of hands and teeth." But slowly, Mary's truths are failing her. She's learning things she never wanted to know about the sisterhood and its secrets, and the guardians and their powers. And when the fence is breached and her world is thrown into chaos about the unconsecrated and their relentlessness, now she must choose between her village and her future, between the one she loves and the one who loves her, and she must face the truth about the forest of hands and teeth. Could there be a life outside a world surrounded by so much death? And let me tell you, this was a good read. I thoroughly enjoyed this one. On my Goodreads, I gave it a 4 stars, and the only reason I gave it 4 instead of 5 is because it's got the typical teenage girl protagonist. I find teenage girls so frustrating. Um, she annoys me towards the beginning of the book with her. She gets depressed and sad because something happens, and she spends time staring out the windows, and she does the whole whiny teenage depressed thing. But then she redeems herself in becoming and showing. I think she was probably always this girl, but she showed when things went bad her strength of character, her strength of will, that she was a strong woman to be, I'm not sure how to phrase that, and that she was willing to do what it took to survive. The world itself, this was a really well written world. The world itself, it sucked me in, it made me want to finish reading it. Took me 4 days to read the book because the first 2 days I only read like a chapter before bed, because the first couple chapters were a little slow and a little. The next 2 days, I got to the nitty gritty and I basically read the whole book. And towards the end, I found myself wanting to know more. Because in the world, they don't remember. It's been forever since the zombie apocalypse. Had to have been at least 100 years. Because she talks about her great grandmother being born before the return. And most zombie apocalypse stories happen as it's going on. So I thought that was cool. And then they've survived for this long. They've got this, they've developed these cultures and these beliefs, and the sisterhood is their religious order that they, the sisterhood controls their whole lives basically. And then it's not, because as any book like this is going to have, something happens, something major happens, and her and a group find themselves running from the unconsecrated. They're on the outside of the village for the first time in forever. So if you're into horror, and this is a young adult book, I'm not sure who publishes it, who is it, because I'm not. Random House. It's a Random House book, and it's a young adult book. Definitely a little bit of the horror, but if you like a little bit of horror and adventure, because there was a little bit of adventure and strength of will, because she had to have strength of will for it. I think you will enjoy this book. I've seen a lot of book hauls with this book in it, but no actual reviews. So now all I need to do is get a hold of my own copy and the sequel, because there's two more in this series, and hope she writes some more, because this was a really good book and I did thoroughly enjoy it. And my cat is now screaming at me for something, so away we go.